Hello, I'm Steve Monkey Mason, and welcome to It's Just a Podcast. This is just the audio commentary. I'm here, right next to us, Brit. We may have a Jack. We've also got Paul Ray.
Hello.
And the one and only Lubo Carl, who walks the wrong way around a one-way system. Carl.
That's me.
Right, we are doing my second podcast for the Burbs, and I'm pressing play on 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wait there.
Whoa. Paused. False fire. I mean, you're right there.
Yeah, but warning.
Well, hang on.
Set up on it, one.
Right, hang on. I'll pause it as soon as Universal World appears. As soon as it appears. Wow, this has got a really long intro by Arrow. The restoration of the Burbs is up.
Are we pressing play now?
Wait there, I'll pause it when I'm getting rid of all the fun, Carl. Arrow Films, Universal.
Jesus wept.
What?
God, I think we've never done this before.
You guys have been off all day, fuckers. Right. Universal Globe has just appeared. I've paused it. Do you all want to get there?
On Universal and MCA Company. I was doing it from the title.
No, I'm doing it from when you first see the globe.
Go Universal on now. And MCA Company.
No, I've just got a globe.
Alright, well, I've got the word Universal, so tell me when it stops like panning in.
No,
Once it stops panning, that's where I am.
Right, I'll tell you when I'm pressing play on the globe. I'm going to reintroduce it again, okay?
Oh, why? It's so good. I'm on Universal MCA Company, which is 9 seconds in. Oh, I'm 10 seconds for. Well, it's alright. Oh, Mason, get yourself on. 10 seconds now.
Right, okay. So I've got Universal right across the fucking screen and MCA Company, right? That right?
Excellent.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to bother reintroducing it. I'm going to get down with this. This is the fucking coordination. Right. We'll start this podcast, right? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Right. Because this is one of the best intros to a movie. Like, from taking the cinema logo into a movie. So, on 3, ready? 2, are we ready? After 1, I'm going to say play, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Play. Ready? Play.
Play.
Yeah. Yeah, this is...
Yeah?
Yeah. I want to throw my shoe at you, Paul. Right. This, again, though, taking like the whole how you bring yourself into a movie, this whole, dissolve, and it goes on and goes on and goes into the map. I think it's absolutely brilliant. A lot of things have done it.
Have you used a Universal logo like that before?
It was one of the first ones. I mean, I know 20th Century Fox, like when X-Men and the X was there, or is it Dante's Peak when it pulls away from the mountain?
Ah, yeah, of course.
I mean, Paramount are quite handy because Paramount, like, even when the stars go past, like,
yeah,
and into a model. I just think it's mint. It brings you right into a movie.
Definitely agree with that. Like,
it's just class. So you guys got fun childhood memories of this?
I personally probably will rediscover a few things. I haven't actually got a great memory of it. This kind of falls in the same category of like Barry's Not Included. Watched them a dozen times when I was younger, but not quite sure if I put it all together in my brain. Now, is Bruce Dern Laura Dern's dad? Always thought of that.
Could be. There could be a connection. Rick Dukeman.
He kind of has a similar look. I mean, she's obviously a lot prettier, but...
Definitely, like, when she's startled and, like, steps up from Jurassic Park going,
my memory is basically BBC One. It used to be on BBC One all the time. I think that's the first time I seen it was on BBC One.
Well, to me, when I grew up, I mean, Britt, you were the same here, because, like, I mean, to me, Tom Hanks was The Money Pit and this. I wasn't a big fan of the Big. It was more, this to me spelled Americana a lot.
Well, my childhood, Tom Hanks was in Saving Private Ryan.
Wow.
Hashtag age gap.
What year were you born?
89, and the first time I seen this movie was 4 years ago.
Wow.
See, this is quite a weird one for Tom Hanks, though, isn't it, though? Because, like, even all the stuff that he's done has been very kind of family friendly. Like, he's always had like a very clean cut about him. Whereas this one's a little bit different to what he's used to doing. Like,
well, Tom Hanks, no pun intended, Big was filmed, but it wasn't out yet. So this is why the Burbs capitalised on good. And Tom Hanks had been in a horror film and like sort of like he'd been in some quirky ones and obviously Big, no pun intended, made him big after that. But I think this was very along the lines of Money Pit where they were off beat. But this is just Joe Dante like masterpiece to me, you know.
Yeah, like, just let you know, Bruce Dern is Laura Dern's dad.
Fucking hell, see, I didn't know that. Jesus.
Highly recommend if you get a chance to watch a film called Nebraska by him.
Oh, when is that the one with the black and white?
Yeah, it's just such a good film. It's like almost like a festival film. You know, it's not like a massive budget at all, but it's just a really well told story.
Can we just say, Jerry Goldsmith score again is amazing.
This is one of his best. Like, I mean, there's even like Brittany got us the Burbs soundtrack. My mum's got a dog like this. The score is beautiful.
Did you know that dog is the same dog in Silence of the Lambs?
Queenie, Silence of the Lambs.
Now, this set, obviously, Mason, everyone knows the set is the Desperate Housewives set, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also the Munster Street, yeah. It's actually still there. It's working set in Universal. It's right next to Whoville. So where Whoville is, it's around the corner.
And isn't it true that on the tours, they had to stop filming so the tours could happen because of the noise and people were like, watch what was happening? I'm sure that was a on-set thing.
Well, the thing, one of the
the
things that you should take note of in this, that what was really appealing to a lot of these actors, is it's filmed on the back lots of Universal Studios, so they're all living in Hollywood. They don't have to travel. It's, you know, like, I mean, they get picked up, dropped off, they work 9 to 5. Here comes Mr. Feldman. And like, this is the back lot. So if you look in the background, there's stuff like Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's got the same like islands, sort of hills in the background, sort of stuff like Jaws, the pickup stuff for Jaws, anything like that. But the ride would come up and then it would go down past the Jaws ride and around working sets. But yeah, it's literally a full street they've used for so many adverts, films, pickups and that. But yes, it's mainly known as the Desperate Housewives Street. Dun dun dun. And she went on to be the voice.
Child, she's in American Dad, isn't she? She's the mother of American Dad.
Yeah. I love the
Is Corey Feldman wearing a Munster Vision top? Or is it a Batman top? I can't tell. Is it a Munster Vision t-shirt from the TV show years ago?
I have to wait to come back on.
Ooh,
No, it might be Batman.
is it not Batfink?
It might be Batman, actually, yeah, because it's very similar.
Now, I think Feldman's painting the Munster's house, but what always got me is there's a house there between Walter's house and Bruce Dern's house. There's another house of a neighbour you never see.
Aye? That deliberate?
No, well, it's just they're not acknowledged. That's all. If you look now, I think over his shoulder there, that house there, you never see that neighbour.
Aye?
It's a small castle,
You
isn't
would have
it?
just thought it would have been such a small castle that they would have capitalised on that and said, well, you know, why leave a house empty when we could add a character?
Yeah, they totally. I mean, it's just one of, like, it's a prime house as well, but it's like a cul-de-sac really. So now, one of the best things about Arrow is they absolutely raped John Dante's catalogue, because on here you get like the work print, you get like a nice remaster, but there's one big thing cut out of this, because this is obviously, here comes the Gremlins cereal in the background there.
Oh yeah.
But the one big thing about this was, obviously this was massively inspired by Rear Window, And the one thing that was cut from this is the fact that he's actually lost his job, and he's contemplating telling his wife he's lost his job. But they've just spat it off to he's having 2 weeks at home.
Yeah.
Getting a bit of interference over there.
Probably you, if you 500 TVs in your room.
Could be the Britbo, actually.
I'll have to leave that open because it'll not notify us of Jack's message.
Yeah, we've got to keep we'll need to find out if Jack's coming. We're not sure. Jack might be trying to bloody ring us, but I can't tell.
Which celebrity got banned on set, though?
Huh?
Which celebrity got banned on set?
Bubbles, the fucking chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Michael!
Well, you know, he did spread shit all over Feldman's trailer, like.
Well, see, like Corey Feldman coming back after the Gremlins to work with Joe Dante, I mean, it was pretty cool. But, like, you think that they never worked again, but Joe Dante actually directed the Splatter TV show that's on Netflix with Feldman.
Now, I can't remember if he mentioned that anybody else picked up on it, but obviously going back to when we met Corey Feldman and when he was talking about this, he didn't really have a great deal of positivity about this, did he?
It's what?
I think he felt a little bit, like basically, I can't remember, did he mention something about being like kind of overwhelmed by all the people, and you know, he didn't really feel like his comedic timing was right. I can't remember.
Well, I would
along the lines of that.
I would personally say with this was when you get that and title against all these actors. I would personally say this was when Feldman was massive, like huge, and it was on the downfall of him being absolutely reckless. Because this was.
I would say he would have been on the drugs and everything by this point, would he?
Well, that was it. This would be just a couple of years before he went to rehab. But I purposely, I've got a big movie poster of the Burbs, and I love it. But I was thinking about taking it, but I knew when you read his autobiography, he does talk about this and sort of like going, right, this was definitely a turning point in his life. So yeah, like all the stuff I took when I met Feldman aside, I wanted like Burbs. I was just like, there's no point. And unfortunately, could have met Joe Dante this year, but that was cancelled. So
that's true. Yeah. That was a highlight for this year for me. Like.
Rick Duckerman obviously appears in everything. Not everything, but Joe Dante obviously. Christ, what did I watch last thing with him on?
He's in Gremlins 2 when he gets his nose bit.
Gremlins 2, yeah. Gremlins 2, Little Monsters, Die Hard,
Groundhog's Day.
Oh yeah, he was in Groundhog's Day, wasn't he?
Was he in the Goonies?
No,
I don't think he was. No. But what if we had cast for like Carrie Fisher? Because obviously. Princess Leia, really, you know what I mean? I just think she pops. I keep thinking again she's in the Blues Brothers.
Well, just going back to it though, guys, remember, like, because this is shot in the back lot, it's a fucking, it's so appealing to people to go right 9 to 5 paycheck, and and it's just, it was, you know, everything they do, it's all in, and that's what, like, I mean, I don't know if you guys will admit this, but I don't think Joe Dante had a big hit after 95ish. A lot of Joe Dante's little stuff is all been. I mean, don't get us wrong. Like Burying Your Girlfriend and stuff like that were well-made films. Like The Hole was a well-made film, but they just misfired. Joe Dante's golden era was the 80s.
Like, but then like stuff like In a Space kind of failed a little bit. That was Spielberg. Matinee wasn't a big hit, and then Explorers wasn't a big hit because it doesn't have that full control something, because the studio comes in and takes it out. Like Explorers is supposed to be like 3 hours long, and the second half of the film just went all over the place, and he feels let down by that. And hopefully one day it'll be a version of that. But yeah, his films always but his films are more of a like a nostalgia thing, and also more of a cult. You know what I mean? Cult films, really.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. I mean, going back to the score, I absolutely love this score. And like Brittany proper surprised is getting it, but it's like a double vinyl. The artwork's amazing. The pull out picture gets amazing, and like it's blue vinyl. But there's a lot of scores that were used weren't used in the film, but actually used in Gremlins 2 as well.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I've always been a big fan of Joe Goldsmith Score. You know, from Supergirl, Explorers, Gremlins, Star Treks. There's a really good spell. Poltergeist, just to name a few.
To be honest with you, this could exist in the same universe as Gremlins. There's nothing like if they hadn't called Ricky, if they called Corey Feldman Pete, and he mentioned the Gremlins at one point. You know what I mean? That could be in a joke. It's that kind of fairy tale-esque about it.
Yeah, the Dante universe that's been mentioned a few times. I'm sure in certain films, like Small Soldiers and stuff. There's a lot of references and stuff.
Now, Corey,
films in there. There's
a joke here that wasn't a joke, but Corey Feldman would go on to be in Meatballs 4, also known as got released over here as Summer Vacation. That kid's a meatball, and that's obviously Bill Murray was in the film Meatball, and we've had 4 Meatball films, but they weren't a big hit over here. Going back to Carrie Fisher, look at her sitting in the background there. What did you do today? Not much. I just pretending to wash some dishes.
I like it the like 2 kids, these 2, and I like that kind of friendship. You know what I mean? They're just 2 men just trying to get on with things, and you know what I mean? They have they could go good chemistry. I think these 2 on set.
Well, it's, to be honest with you, a film that's like this is sort of Friday when Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, because they're just sitting on the porch watching the world go by. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here he comes. Oh, there's only one person in the room's going to get this joke. Scott Robinson. Isn't that right, Paul Ray?
Yeah. Made you call them Hans. What's he called again? Oh, what's
Hans.
the guy called? We called them all the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Work name got up for me and you.
Now, if Jack was here, he'd be getting some grief about gingering.
Well, lucky we here.
I love, like, here as well, I love the Biscotti Western style that's obviously blatant here, like panning away from everybody. But I think what's really good about it is everyone you can see in the shot. So you get the aware, again going back to that missing neighbour across here. But the fact when it pans into the dog's eyes, it's just the fucking laugh out loud moment.
Definitely. So I think I love about Joe Dante. I mean, he just films this thing so perfectly. You know, camera angles and stuff like that. Cinematography is absolutely amazing on these films. It's a very colourful film too, with being in daylight.
And it's an awesome cut by Arrow. The restoration being fantastic.
The only thing I've slated Arrow on this is the fact that when they released it, the steelbook was really popular. It's a nice steelbook because the Burbs, if you guys remember, the Burbs for some reason when it hit DVD, it became a 12 and got Burbs uncut under the title. But there's not a lot in it to say it's to warrant it being super uncut. And you know what I mean. There's a few scenes here and there, but nothing to warrant it too bad. Dun, 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 dun. I fell asleep the other night, didn't I? Just with the because on the Arrow cut of this, you actually get a score of it. Like you can have like an isolated score. It's so well scored. Bruce Dern went on to work with Joe Dante once again, and there's the Corey Feldman. Yes. He's in Halls, isn't he? He's the guy in the light room.
He is, yes. The Hall, yeah. It's a really good film, but it's proper like psychological too. He just even gets just deserves Joe Dante like.
This is the shot I was on about, the Biscotti Western style. Like the whole panning at the eyes and
the wind's just really starting to like rile up now
and then it's just it's when it pans into the dog, it's fucking class.
You can tell like when he does it himself, I think. Joy.
This is quite a hard, like that is like you wouldn't get away with that now because like it's so like it's such a gag, but like actors, I broke my ankle and stuff like that.
original artwork for this?
I don't think so. Graham Humphrey's more. I mean,
it's not the Blu-ray cover. It's not like obviously Tom Hanks standing in the street. But the more of a colourful, almost like 1980s blob. The montage kind of.
The montage, yeah, he might have. That's more Graham Humphreys. He was a nice guy, Graham, when I met him.
Oh, absolutely lovely.
He was a really nice guy, but like that again though. I was talking about this right recently, and I don't know if it was with you, Carl, actually, but the Burbs in Big Trouble in Little China are two of the new artworks they brought out, and then they changed them back to the concept because they brought the Burbs out and they had that montage, and they brought the cover back out with Tom Hanks back on the cover.
Yeah.
The bees. It's almost like failed artwork, do you know what I mean? But again, Arrow should have brought out a nice big box set.
That should have been that kind of recycled box kind of style, which I quite like. A lot of people do like kind of give it a bit of a knock, saying, "I like the recycled paper feels a bit cheap," but I quite like it.
Did it still have the reversible inserts and that, to change it around to original covers and that?
Yeah, but like I was saying, like
most of them do.
You can always tell if you got an original because you'll have the age rating on the one they put forward. So this one I'm watching, is the one with like the 50 and it's got the Graham Humphreys one. You flip it around, Tom Hanks is on the purple background. But now if you went in to buy it, it would be Tom Hanks with the 15. But like Big Trouble in Little China, the exploding head. It's been changed to just Kurt Russell on the front, you know what I mean? Trying to maximise like more broad commercial. So yeah.
I'm sure Joe's did the original artwork for it.
Again, all you had to do when this came out was slap Tom Hanks on the front cover because Big was such a big movie. You didn't need to do it, do you know what I mean?
True, but then do you not think it would have been a bit of a missed market? Like, say, if you go back and see what Tom Hanks did before this, if you just had Tom Hanks on, you're going to expect a Tom Hanks project, which I think this is far from a Tom Hanks project.
Oh, yeah, I mean... But a lot of people wouldn't know who Rick Dickerman is. I mean, Carrie Fisher, Corey Feldman, Bruce Dern... Yeah, they're the names. I mean, Rick Dukeman was a big stand-up comedian in America, but
he could film just by himself, could he?
Yeah, well, they really struggled to cast him. I think they'd seen a lot of people, and like I don't think they could find. This is actually like this is the bit where they mentioned the Sentinel, which was the writer is the guy who does the comedy on it, and he was just like out of. Like a big love for that film, and he says what you'll get like a couple of laughs out of the audience. He's get sometimes the inner jokes are funny, and it's just like, well, all right.
It's a job because he's got a big massive cigar. That's why.
I always found that like a nightmare if you had to like smoke or eat something in a scene over and over again.
Oh, I bet. We can normally tell who's an actual smoker, who's not, when they don't inhale, do they?
Now, me and Britt the other night watched a film called Lipstick Camera with Feldman in, which is about 5 years after this, and he's almost a completely different person, isn't he?
Oh, God, yeah.
He's got long black hair, black goatee, and wearing a Michelin cap to, like, he's proper... I mean, you can tell it's a big budget because his hair's been proper done for that.
Oh, yeah.
That is like...
Oh, because he's been looked after, yeah.
But again, this is another film growing up. Like, you see movies and Corey Feldman was in everything. Every film you loved. The Burbs, this, Gremlins, Goonies, The Lost Boys.
Yeah. I was just having a look because Dragnet didn't get an awful lot of talk these days unless you're being like proper 80s kid.
What was that?
Dragnet.
Dragnet, I love Dragnet.
Love that.
I got the actually.
Yeah.
Well, Dragnet hasn't seen a Blu-ray release
yet. This came out after the Burbs, but it's not. It's obviously beforehand.
Who's got interference?
Probably.
I've just getting a phone call. I've just declined. It might have been that.
Oh, well, thank you for staying with us, Carl.
Oh, you know, always a professional.
Dun, dun. It's good to have Paul Ray back. It's been a while. What was our last podcast? Gremlins 2?
That was probably the last time you were with us, wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah, probably, yeah. It was only like 2 weeks ago.
In the world of podcasts, it might have well have been 2 years ago, Paul.
Now, there's a lot of... This speech here is very much like the lass's speech in the Santa Claus. You know, like, it's a very similar scene, but obviously it has a massive payoff later on where he actually plays the fucking killer ice cream man in the fucking joke.
It just sets up like the story, doesn't it? Like I said, it sets up like the creepiness of the film.
Well, that's it. I mean, again, both you guys are in, well, even Brit, all you guys are in my Rear Window review. And, like, I grew up loving this, and when I seen Rear Window, you can kind of just look, you know what I mean? If you're a writer and you can just, you know, like, the classic, like, the idea of looking out your window and going, right, what's going on over there? Do you really know your neighbour?
Yeah.
I mean, when in my old house, I once woke up and my neighbour, Aunt, was on top of my car, dressed as a fucking tiger, with fucking vampire teeth on, and I just looked out and I was just like, yay! Like, you alright there? And I got it all on camera, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry about standing on your roof of your car. I was like, that's fine. But you just never know, do you?
Well, I mean, you live in concert.
Huh?
It's normal Saturday.
I mean, my next door neighbour now, they're from California. They're actually from where this is filmed.
They're actually in California.
They're actually
right
in
now
California
as well.
right now, yeah.
Poor sods. What happened? Did they get lost?
No, I think they had to go back for a family thing, to be honest with you. But this is a show I never
mean,
got.
like, I mean more like, how do you go from California to concert?
Oh, I know.
Yep.
Well, I'm getting used to them.
See, now that leather jacket's something that he'll be sporting today.
Probably Michael Jackson thing like that.
Total. Yeah, Michael Jackson. Well, Bubbles will probably give it one.
He's got t-shirts on that became popular in the 90s, you know, the different coloured ones.
Tie-dye.
Tie-dye, that's it, yeah.
Tie-dye.
I'm surprised when they have the party that Corey Haim doesn't turn up. Like, literally, because this would have been just after Dream a Little Dream, and I think Haim had went back to Canada to try and calm down off the drugs. But saying that though, this would have been the same time as License to Drive, so...
There's nothing in it for him though, is there? It's like, when you think of the cast and then think of what he might have brought to the team.
I would no, it's not. It's not.
Give him the empty house. You know what I mean? That's all he could have given him really for the story.
Well, this is when they have the party later on. The random guy comes up and says, "Hey, we're going to jump." And he's "Don't worry, I called the pizza dude." That could have been him, easy. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a big role. It was just more like that. Like if you look at John Cusack movies and randomly Jeremy Piven's in them all the time, and you think, "Fucking hell, yeah. Jeremy Piven's in that again."
But do you not think they might have been like more, like kind of relieved to have a break from each other?
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get no. To be honest with you, I mean, at this point, they'd literally, they were just super massive at that time, weren't they?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you got one of those, Mason. Nice vision, freaking things.
Well, I don't spy on my neighbours.
Don't say that. You said that, not me.
I mean, you could get an app on your phone for that now, man. Oh, that's fucking weird.
I think what Bruce did is a proper like army veteran kind of guys with all his stuff.
Bruce
Stern. A little bit from us.
That you've just took the words right out my mouth. That's
I think all three of us were just about to say that. Like,
it's exactly the same.
Yay.
But it's almost like it's almost like the thing is about the same characters, it's almost like they're in all this like fallout of America. They're prepared for everything. They've got every gadget, but they don't seem to ever have been in a war or the army.
Like those doomsday preppers and stuff you see on TV. Whoa. That's like a Munsters kind of thing. Frankenstein, isn't it? The lightning hitting the top. And that sounds like a Millennium Falcon, that hyperdrive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if it is.
I'll just wait for the DeLorean to fly past.
Alright, kid, now let's blow this thing and go home.
Don't get cocky now.
Don't get penis, kid. You bastard.
So random.
Mind you, I would do this so I don't get freaking wet in the pouring down rain if I had a car, just to put the rubbish out.
Oh, it's nothing better than walking in a pouring down rain, man.
It was fucking
Freaking out,
hammering
down.
down. I love it how they're hiding behind their bins and they're just lush in plastic and like proper nice bins, and like their bins are all ratted and tattered.
The set design is really good in this film, like.
Well, I think the Klopex house is the only one they built. Mainly because they blow it up at the end, like, but...
Spoilers.
He's been in quite a few films, him. He's called Courtney.
Oh.
Courtney Gaines.
Yeah. It is actually, it is the Millennium Falcon hyperspace noise, that's what it is.
Nice catch.
Just having a quick look at it now. You know, when it gets to, movie banks and, Millennium Falcon noises, that's what I'm an expert in, apparently.
But how much, what we're looking at budget-wise here for?
Oh, I haven't checked that out yet, that's me surprise for later. We've both had things where we couldn't get a top of always done that, man. I've smacked it around a few times, the bin bag. Have a quick look for you now.
Courtney Gaines is also in Children of the Corn. He's in a few things.
$18 million United States dollars to make. It did 49.1. So,
wow.
I think it's what to do better, like, but yeah,
It seems expensive though for the fact that they were in house.
Yeah.
So it was all the names.
Could be the special effects, not me.
Yeah.
There's only one other film I know really exposed a backlot like this, and that was the Backlot Murders starring Corey Haim, where they're basically like, it's a Scream movie, right? And they're just filmed on. They're meant to be filming this music video, and basically they're shooting the main video on the the Lost World set, where they go into the visitors centre, and the Hitchcock house is in it. Jaws rides in it. And like they're running around all these sets, and the Burbs Street's probably in it, but like one by one there was none, and it took us ages to realise who the director was in the actual film, and it's fucking Roger Rabbit, Charles Fletcher. But again, all they've done is literally, right, we're on the backlot, can we film a slasher movie? And like, again, it's one film you need to check out, because like they're having this conversation and say, I'm the killer, and it's like, that's the fucking Norman Bates' house. It's like, but it's actually Norman Bates' house. It's like, fuck, does Universal, because it's not distributed by Universal. I'm like, does Universal know about this?
Yeah.
I should say, I thought you said 80 million, whereas 18, so in that respect, 18.
18 million cost to make, 49 are made.
Imagine if you're seeing this. Drew it out your back garden, man, and be like, fucking hell. Dig. Stir of echoes, dig. Now, if you read some of the backstory, Tom Hanks wasn't sure about being a dad in the movie. He thought he was too young for fatherhood. Now, these two here, let Paul Ray loose here because he knows these two.
I like Dick Miller and Robert Picardo.
Star Trek.
Mr. Ferdinand and stuff.
Well,
I just watched Tom Cruise again. Obviously, Robert Picardo does Megan Mucklebones, the swamp lady.
Both in Gremlins too.
He plays a cowboy in Inner Space.
He's also the guy who has sex with a girl gremlin in Gremlins 2.
He was, yeah.
And just Dick Miller's and everything. Well, was.
Yeah. But more importantly, is there an X-File cameo yet, Mason?
Oh no.
Oh, hang on, no, wait there. Let me think about this.
Carrie Fisher was an X-Files.
I would expected Picardo to be in the next File series. He was all about the TV at that point. Yes. I'd put money on he's been in at least one.
He was in, that's in my scene when he was in, Orville.
Alright, would you now? I've never seen that, is it any good?
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
The first episode's directed by John Favreau, isn't it?
No idea.
Who?
Guy who's just done Lion King, man.
John Favreau.
John Favreau, yeah, that's what I meant.
Uh,
I don't know, I think we're X-Files safe for this movie, guys, to be honest with you.
Alright. You should start a website, just washeanxfile.com.
I just joked on it as his friends. It's like it is as like Chris Campbell and all this stuff.
Boy, you just went a little bit crackly there, mate. I don't know if you've changed your microphone now.
No, that doesn't really work. It's got a phone next to me, go.
I love it how it's the next day and Feldman hasn't got changed, but he was changing his tie-dye and he hasn't got one bit of paint on him.
Oh yeah, they probably filmed it the same day or something like that. That's his paint on top. You know, like everyone has like a lazy stuff.
To be honest with you, I think she's in the X-Files.
Where this part?
What's that, Paul? You're in a fish tank?
Don't know why I haven't did anything.
I think she's in the X-Files. That's it. Okay. Someone want to check that? Can you check? Is the guy?
Yeah, I'll check it for you. Yeah.
Oh, Carl will do it. Carl's good for that.
I'll have a look, man. I've got the internet on. Let's have a look at you. It's Wendy Charl, isn't it?
Alright.
Yeah.
I just want to double check.
Dick Miller looks like someone would be in the X-Files, but I would have went, oh yeah.
I was going to say, I would have expected him to have shown up in the X-Files at least once. Let's see. Hey, Martha Crittenden. She was in 2000, so she was in one of the recent ones.
So she was in the X-Files?
Yeah, that was that character in the X-Files.
Yes!
So it took over.
I was going to say, it was 2000 when she was in it, so...
I tell you what, I was about to suggest this to Carl about doing a podcast for a fair game, and I've been meaning to do it because it screams like Warner Brothers action movies Under Siege, and the lead bad guy is a henchman is Vasquez from Aliens, and she's in Terminator 2. She has not aged well in 5 years.
No.
Really?
And she's not even freaking, was it Spanish or Mexican, is she? She's from Britain or something like that?
Yeah.
I'm sure she is.
There's a total alternative scene as well, how they get in the house as well, but I think that was totally cut.
Sorry, Bruce Dern opened it with his glass cutter, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think there's a completely different scene about going up a ladder and stuff. I think it got done, so.
Right.
Again, the work print where the arrow's released is on. I think this is one of the most overacted bits coming here when Feldman comes through the door. But obviously, his cue is break the plate. Make sure you break the plate. And you can just tell he's like, have I broke the plate? Watch when he comes through the door here. It's coming.
Is it when Tom Hanks kicks off? He does that a lot, doesn't he?
Panning in. Conspiracy. Joint hysteria. Here. As you can see, he's been told to push it so hard. Make sure you break the plate. Who goes through a door like that? Look at that, man. Telephone with a cord. Me mum's dogs are spitting double that. We were down the other day and like me and Britt were talking to Alex outside me mum's, and I just looked over and I just laughed, and I don't think anyone realised, but it's just like my mum's dog is just sitting there. It just looks like the Burbs. Walter, we have your dog.
Kidnapping your dog.
That's a good old fashioned letterbox there. Now that guy there, I'm sure he's called Brother Theodore. I think that's his real name.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Brother Theodore.
I've just had a look, and obviously he must have been too busy for X-Files. So Dick Miller, he was a busy lad, like. In terms of TV, he did do a lot. Like he did The Flash in the 90s. He did Fame. He did a few Star Trek episodes. So very busy lad. But you would have thought at the time he would have stepped in on X-Files for a bit.
There is a documentary that guy called Dick Miller. You can find it. It's really good.
It's
just
on.
story.
It's on Prime, but you've got to pay for it. Like so.
Yeah. It is really good.
Well, I think Arrow might bring that out, because I'm sure that's something Arrow should bring out.
Definitely. Or even the budget title, I mean? Just like a cheap $5.99 one. Just depends on how many people probably know about him.
True.
So, these are little boys sitting downstairs in the basement so he doesn't get wrong.
That's me and Britt were watching The Truman Show, and we were on about this, making like The Truman Show, like that Americana, that to me as a kid, what you presumed American suburbs would be like. This is the film that painted a picture, like the Gremlins and stuff like that. What it's like in the suburb style of it.
Well, it's clean, perfect grass. Everybody's happy.
But the thing is, you know what I mean? Everyone go like, oh, like, don't go to the hood and stuff. I mean, I've been at Compton and I got pulled over by the police and say, what are you doing in Compton? Like, get that way. But I'm saying, like, it, like, everywhere, like, places have a bad reputation. It's the people. Like, it doesn't, it, like, fair, like, you meet some of the nicest people in some of the roughest areas. And you can meet the horriblest person in the nicest areas. It just, you know what I mean? It's just the way life is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the rougher areas tend to have the better community when it comes down to, like, kind of looking after each other and, just knowing who everyone is. Whereas, you get some nice posh areas and they haven't got a clue who anyone is. They all keep to themselves, generally everyone else's. I'm not getting any of that. I don't know about you, Mason.
I heard abduction. Hello, Paul Ray.
There you go, you're back.
Yeah.
What are you doing, like?
Sitting in bed watching the Burbs.
Well, you're doing something, aren't you?
Yes.
You're touching yourself again. That
Oh.
one keeps going a bit funny.
Right, so here as well, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's on here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's The Exorcist.
And was The Exorcist over here? Because obviously from 1973 it was banned to hell.
Well, happening
It was only got reissued in the late 2000s, wasn't it?
yeah, Texas Chainsaw as well. So I mean, that's another reason to like make it uncut. But obviously that sets up the dream. But Joe Dante is normally known for putting his favourite films as a kid in the background. He's not really sometimes bothered about that, but like he gives tribute to like Rick Baker and stuff like that.
There hasn't been much Looney Tunes stuff from this, is there? Well, that's Warner Brothers, though, isn't it? This is Universal.
I can generally see this getting one of them Japanese steelbooks coming out, you know.
Hope so, like. I told you Jurassic Park and E.T. are on my list if they do it.
Backdraft, I thought that'd be good.
Well, I don't own that, so I would be very happy if it did.
Now this goes, obviously this is just a set, but it always interests me, right? He's halfway up the stairs. Where does that door go to? Is it like the labyrinth? You know what I mean? It's like it's up the stairs, so there's what's that? A second floor, hidden door. I'm interested. I want to know where that door goes.
Could leave it in the garage.
No, but you seen in the other scene before, Carrie Fisher. She was on the floor in the garage.
That's a good point. Good thinking, yeah. There she is in a nightgown.
This totally reminds me of Drop Dead Fred. This bit.
Yeah. See, this is where it starts to get really trippy.
But yeah, it's a love about it, like, but it's even funnier stuff, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of this being set up. Yeah, you see a couple of the claw pegs, you know, like, when you open up the vinyl, this is inside the vinyl, this. I want to kill everyone. Right, so funny joke is I've got a t-shirt that it's got the Burbs on, and on the back it's got I want to kill everyone, Satan is good, Satan is our pal. And it is in like massive pink letters, and Brittany got us it, and I was so happy to get it. And we went to film Liam Carr at a festival, and I went right at the front, and I was happy filming. I realised after it I was at the front of this festival with that written on my back that everyone could fucking see. And if you're not a cult fan of the Burbs, people are like, what the fuck's he got that written on? It was a family festival as well. I was like, well, that was a good one. Whoops. There's Brother Fido.
You've got a couple of nice taglines for this one, like, so you got a comedy about a guy who gets pushed too far.
Look, isn't that who, sorry, isn't that who Tom Hanks
Mr. Rogers.
that's who Tom Hanks now plays.
Aye.
It's a beautiful day.
Good little. Yeah, it's actually really quite an interesting film, like.
Right, sorry Carl, you were saying he was a nice guy in a nice neighbourhood who got pushed too far?
Yeah, he's a man of peace in a savage land, suburbia. He's a stranger in an even stranger land, suburbia, and life in the burbs will never be the same again.
Suburbia.
No, that one didn't have suburbia, but just say that. I mean, obviously the other two with suburbia on the end are quite repetitive, but that's an interesting tagline. I think this is something that was a lost art form now. In film don't normally get great taglines anymore.
Yeah, you were going to do a thing, weren't we? About taglines.
Yeah, good. What's that tagline from?
Well, don't worry, just remember this is a special podcast presented to you by Killian H. Gore. We've got the quiz coming at the end of this movie.
And that's quite a misconception from me, because a lot of people know me for watching a lot of film, yet the problem is I have a memory like a sieve. So most people often go, who's that guy? Who plays that guy in that film? And I'll be like, I have no idea.
It's like, which way to walk around the shopping mall again?
Listen, nobody else was doing it. I'm not being funny, like, I hadn't even realised there was things on the floor because so many people weren't doing it that my brain just didn't even think of it.
Did it seem
anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. The guy had a mask on, you'd never know who it was.
Oh, the good old chairs in America. Walter.
Look, when he went over to see if he could come out with play kind of thing, and the kids weren't there. I just said no, he's having a rest, and then Greg just looks at his feet like a kid going, no, really? And he starts like kicking like a rock or something like that. It just looked like how childish though.
I'm sure actually, when I've been thinking about this movie, I'm sure originally Tom Hanks dies at the end, you know.
I heard that, I think I've heard the original cut, like he killed him off.
It's like ringing a doorbell doing a runner, isn't it? As a kid.
Knocky, knocky, 9 doors.
See, fucking hell. I've got a new video coming out soon, and it's called 26 Messages, and I woke up and I got told to do a reaction video for it, and I had 26 voice messages from Cooper and Stedman, and I listened to them, and Cooper's pissed, and then Stedman takes over, but then Stedman walks home, and he actually rings a doorbell, and he's just fucking running, and he's absolutely mortal, and I was just like, oh my god. If someone rang my doorbell in the middle of the night, I wouldn't fucking answer.
See, Tom Hanks always was reacting in nearly every film, doesn't he? That's what he's kind of famous for, and I mean, he just goes crazy.
Kind of got a niche to it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I still think Tom Hanks should have played the bad guy in Ready Player One.
I don't know if I'm ready for a bad guy Tom Hanks.
No, just, you know, like the whole reuniting with Spielberg, sort of that whole 80s vibe.
Yeah.
I just generally thought that role of the bad guy, Sorrento, whatever he's called, should have been an iconic 80s actor.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the actor who did
was
it.
alright.
Yeah, nothing wrong with who did it. I just thought it could have been. I think with the film and where the film was going, I just thought nostalgia should have had it.
Yeah, I totally agree, yeah.
Oh, I love Elizabeth. The camera works.
It's the Jaws thing, isn't it? On overdrive. Like the zoom in but pull back as you're doing it.
And the music also.
But they're not wrong that it's the Bourne.
No, they're actually right. Well, they're actually right, aren't they? On what we don't know, because we're just the viewers. Journey together. And here comes a wind again. Every time we go next to that freaking house, the wind goes. I love it.
But if you look at that, the backline there, that hill and all that, like the when you go around the Bat Lot, they actually show you where the filmed Creature from the Bat Lagoon, and they actually show like the classic picture of the creature standing there, and they go look at the line of the mountains because they're exactly the same in the background. And then around the corner
that was a weird scene there, like even for this film, like that whole panning in and out while they're screaming.
Well, again, it's more that just sort of like it's sort of like, right, you're going into a movie here though.
It's like a cartoon, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very Looney Tunes, yeah. Well, even
what I found strange when I was reading about this, which I thought I'd read up on it a little bit, is that obviously the cast and crew had so much fun doing this that even Tom Hanks sent everybody a pair of glasses and a thank you note. Yet strangely enough, I was reading the other day, apparently this was actually the worst reviewed film in 1989, and according to the likes of Joe Dante, Marshall Harvey, who did the editing, and Corey Feldman and Wendy Shaw, they actually didn't like it either, yet obviously was quite the box office success. Strange how people, obviously, I mean, we know obviously Corey Feldman talked about how his time was a little bit obscure, but strange how the others didn't like it.
Wasn't it because of Universal were putting their noses in again? Wasn't it something to do with that?
It might have been. I don't know. I didn't really mention too much about the reason why they didn't like it. It just apparently they were the ones who went on record saying that it wasn't quite.
But
wasn't
it the fact of the problem though that this came out after Big, so people were going to like the next Tom Hanks movie, but it wasn't wasn't the next Big.
But that's what I was saying before. When you put Tom Hanks on a poster, after like things like Dragnet, and then after even think of Splash. Splash was out a few years before this as well. So if you say Tom Hanks, you're going to go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to go into a family film. This is obviously a fantastic film, but if you don't know what it's about, you're going in blind, I think you're going to be quite shocked.
There go the goddamn brownies. There's another thing you'll get on t-shirts and very quotable. As Scott Robinson answers the door.
Is that in Tattoo with Scott Robinson?
No, that's a different Scott Robinson.
I was going to say, I'm just thinking what's the joke here, but obviously a different guy.
I tell you what though, Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, that could be Undertaker's son. He could
be quite the younger version.
Me and Mark Calloway there.
Did Carrie Fisher do any rewrites to this or what? Because she does like she'd help with a lot of rewriting and certain things, didn't she? I don't know if she did a rewrite on this film or what, or help with a script.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll look at this.
Have a quick IMDb on it.
Yeah, I'm sure I heard something like that.
Fisher.
I mean, it's essentially what happens if the Addams Family move next door.
It just doesn't have the Addams Family Groove Lord, does it? Remember that song?
Do.
Was it MC Hammer? Yeah, it was MC Hammer, wasn't it?
It came with the frame. There's another classic quote. It came with the frame. It came with the frame?
Oh, beautiful.
I mean, at the end of the day, what they could have done, right? That house that you haven't seen anybody... That totally is Paul Ray, like.
It came with a frame.
What they could have done is they could have had the surviving members of the cast of the Munsters, like, literally drive by. Oh, we're just going on vacation, see you later. And then it takes away that house.
It's 4 minutes in and we're just getting to really see, you know what I mean? What's going on there, what's got the name of the family now?
Oh, there you go. He's got a different T-shirt on, the same brand, guys, if you can catch it there.
It's something Vision.
This bit here where they chucks the spade over, again, you want to talk about inspired by Looney Tunes.
And when they both laugh at the same time.
Like, but I love it how the camera pans and you don't see the impact, but you know it's happening. You think you'd seen it. Watch, it's just perfect.
Yeah. So Paul, just to answer your question, for no, not on the Burbs, but she's done a lot of what we've kind of dubbed as script doctor.
Right. Okay.
And a lot of it was, almost all of it, in fact, was uncredited. So she's done things like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Coyote Ugly, Scream 3. She's done a lot of the prequels on Star Wars, The Wedding Singer. She's done quite a lot of like what's being dubbed as script doctor. Even Last Action Hero, of all things.
What a random thing.
Last Action Hero, Lethal Weapon 3. Some really random villain popping up there that I wouldn't have thought she would be in.
I mean, what would you think if someone came in and started pulling your wallpaper off? I'd be like, what are you doing?
That's what I'm doing in your house.
Well, as long as you do it before we decorate, that's perfectly fine, mate, but like...
Just go in and just what's your favourite Tom Hanks film?
Mine?
No, Brett. I mean, everyone can answer, but...
Oh, mine. I love The Terminal.
Yeah.
I also love Catch Me If You Can as well.
Catch Me If You Can's up there, like.
No, this is my favourite Tom Hanks film. This
Green Mile will always be a favourite as well.
Interesting. Nice choices. Hey. What are you, Paul?
Castaway, Dragnet, and obviously this.
Yeah.
True and Hooch.
Money Pit.
Yeah. Actually, more like Forrest. I'll probably put Forrest Gump more than Money Pit.
You Got Mail. Bang.
I just watched that for the first time a few months ago, just before lockdown.
Yeah, it's a fucking brilliant film, that.
I mean, if I just... And some fish. And some mackerel. Yuck. Oh, God.
This is the last time that guy acts as well, that reference.
Well, he had to,
The last
because
film
didn't he
he
just
did?
die after it?
I don't know.
Brother Theodore.
Just said it was his last appearance in movies.
There's nothing worse than someone watches you eat, is there? Especially sardine and a friggin' pretzel.
I'm a dickhead. If people start watching it eat, I just make it look as minging as I can. I'll win that battle.
Bruce Dern's like Bill Murray. You've never seen them young. They've always got that aged face about them.
You're absolutely right there, like.
Obviously, he's been on a lot of Tarantino stuff because he's like, he's in The Ranch, isn't he? He's the guy who owns The Ranch in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yes, that's why I seen him last. Yeah, you're right, I only watched it last week.
And he's in Hateful Eight as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you've just never seen him young.
Now, is Tom Hanks sneezing yet, or is he just allergic reaction to something? I never knew what this was. Was he going to cough or he's going to sneeze or what?
And I'm like, again, it's just the whole slap yourself in the face with some paper.
No, I didn't like it.
His lines might have been written on that paper, you know, he might have just forgotten.
My brother, the doctor. It's so quotable, this movie. The doctor.
He is probably scary, isn't he, him?
Paul, that's like, I've seen you look like that at work.
I've seen like that at work also. I'm not mentioning what day it was, but...
I've seen Casper like that before when he was serving that guy with the gas mask on. Casper just looked up, asking Casper.
Oh, wait, man, you're just getting kicked out of the shop for that, man. There's no need for a gas mask like that.
You get it from those naughty shops, I heard.
What naughty shops?
The World War ones.
There's just some random shit. If you look around that room, you try to look at the pictures, and they're like, because they're like, they just killed the naps. They killed the naps and just moved in, and like, but again, if you just look around, it's like one of them clicking fucking, like, you're looking for items, like, parrot.
That's
There's
what
a
I was doing
parrot.
before, just seeing if there's anything back there.
It's not like a Gremlin cereal box hidden. It's just so fucking weird as shit. Fire extinguisher in the box. And then the
What do you
whole...
call the wifey who plays mother in Mrs. Doubtfire?
Sally Field.
Aye. Just watched a film with her in, right? Set in America. And it was probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And part of her character is she's a bit of a hoarder. And no word of lie, she's got a photo and frame in her apartment, which is a hoarding apartment, mate, so it's hard to pick. And it's literally identical to what we've got at work. As a museum, I might add.
Yes, Henry Gibbons, isn't it? He's awesome.
Sally Field also plays Forrest Gump's mum.
That's very true.
Henry Gibbs, he's class in Biodome. Get them out of there!
Oh, yeah, I watched that a few weeks ago again. Forgot about that.
He's also in
Anyone else
Gremlins
I've seen him
too.
in it? Is that what it is? Maybe it's worth seeing him.
He's the guy who gets fired, isn't he? You don't work here anymore.
Blues Brothers also. He plays the Nazi.
I bet you he's in the fucking X-Files.
Oh, he will be.
What's his name?
Henry Gibbs.
Henry. Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, he's also in a space. Is the thingy Martin Short's boss, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's known for Inner Space, Mr. Wormwood. He's the head Nazi in Brood Brothers. He's in Magnolia, and he's in a film called Nashville. Also was in Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle, eh?
I love it how he comes off normal, but he could definitely lead the cult. I mean, these definitely could be runaways from Children of the Corn, you know what I mean? There's definitely...
All those candles in there would not light that room up like that perfectly. Wonderful.
Where's the draft coming from?
come from?
There, look at that, a crocodile randomly sticking up.
And a fire extinguisher on the right hand there, for the candles.
Candles in the background. I mean...
That's what I'm like when someone touches me.
Not what I've heard.
He released like a
Pretty good.
cannon.
Sorry, Mason, I can confirm Henry Gibson did not appear in the X-Files.
Damn, well I got one, so it's alright.
He was probably too busy going around the world 80 days.
Troll? A big troll next to Thingy's head.
There is,
Right.
you see that? I think I noticed that on the my other podcast, but yeah, you're right, there's a troll randomly.
I've seen it.
That's got
I've
no
never noticed
reason to
that.
be there. It came with the frame. Now, if you guys remember as well, the cat in Gremlins is called Klopek as well.
Alright.
What she shouts at when it goes down the stairs. Klopek!
Was Korpek off something else?
I only know Klopek from this. Such a weird name. Oh, the fucking dog. You keep a horse in the basement?
Notice Tom Hanks has the same run as well. Don't know what it is, but when he runs, it's weird.
Like Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Not a Steven Seagal run. I think Britt might fall asleep by the end of this podcast.
She's suspiciously quiet.
I would hit like, these angles on here. That must have knocked the stunt guy, that.
Yeah.
Wow. Another neighbour, if that of one. I was like, bloody hell, can I say that, man?
Yeah, but I think he does. Like in the end, he gets killed. But like, why kill him off? But again, I think again a lot of scripts come out quite dark, and they always get toned down. Then it's like the commercialism. Then, then you get actors. Yeah, I'll do it, but I don't want to do this scene. And
Yeah. And obviously, he's a drawing, isn't he? You know what I mean? Tom Hanks, he kind of kill off Tom Hanks, man.
But with this style of film, I wouldn't like. It's not that mental of an idea.
see,
It's like you've already gone with Tom Hanks, and you've already gone with something so different to what Tom Hanks would normally in. So why not go completely different and say, yeah, no one can expect this to happen.
Because he's a big major star, and like I said, I'm sure something with Joe Dante and something about Universal. There's something like that didn't get on, or they wanted to move the thingy forward, and it didn't finish it again, and that's why he doesn't like working with big, massive Hollywood companies for. I'm sure it's something like that.
yeah, well, I think
Apparently, like you hear that Tom Hanks, you never like hear bad things said about Tom Hanks in terms of the way he works, who he works with, and stuff like that. But apparently, him and Rick Ducommun were not best of pals. That was it. It was not the best of pals on set, but it was like kind of Joe Dante always mentioned how professional he was. That Tom Hanks is. He doesn't really get to.
And the way they got, you were thinking of friends for, I mean, on and off screen.
well, you got to look at Tom Hanks when he was diagnosed with COVID, and how like when people found out Tom Hanks had it, how shocking, like, whoa, shit, and like, but how good he was as a human to like, post, talk to people, and be like, you know what I mean, like out there, and how strong he was for people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just showed you how good of a person he was.
That's when I keep my wig when I'm older.
How about Brittany? What kind of machine's that behind him there? Is that an Apple II?
Probably.
Is there an iTunes?
Acorn, that man.
It's BBC computer you get in school.
Play
Your
Asteroids.
drives.
Take about 3 or 4 minutes just to load up a dirty picture.
It'll still be pixelated.
Alright.
Yeah.
I mean, the lighting on this face here, just like that stare.
Yeah.
It's like being pushed too
Oh,
far.
You're not a soldier. It's like he's the boss, like, isn't he? Like the main.
Yeah.
Going on.
Looks completely different now. It looks so scary.
The green light in the background just to add some ominous to it.
God, these streets are bloody nuts, man.
I know, sure it was nice and green when I first started.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, everything's all like nice and friendly, and at the end it's just all like hell break loose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, that's a very interesting shot. You know, like
Continuity.
Well, that's a good shot with the glasses.
again, Joe Dante, just like, you know what I mean. He likes his coverage and that. But yeah, where that yellow car is there, what's backing out now, literally that's Whoville around the corner.
This guy just reminds me of Michael Bay.
He does, aye. He does
I
look
like
like
him.
Michael Bay and Bad Boys 3. There you go.
I've been stumbling for like the last half an hour just thinking, who the hell is that remind me of?
Right, I've got some theories about that door, by the way, on the stairs, because if you looked in that bit there, they've got that little terrace balcony, and then they've got another little window. So look, that window. Where's that window go to?
Yeah. Could be a way to get on a roof.
I mean, what's really cool there, if you look in the reflection of the glass there, Tom Hanks was in the reflection of the glass, and you're like, right, normally, like now, that actor would be reacting to no one. Mummy dinner, bye, you finish your scene, I'm not there. Fucking hell, matching dress.
It's like she's going to believe him. That's like selling it, isn't it? I just bought the General The Simpsons episode. We had one videotape, this was before I had Sky, and we had one video called Bought the General.
Yeah.
I watched it that many times, I was sick of watching it. So
I-
many episodes I can't stand.
I always had The Simpsons Goes Camping, which also has one of my favourite skits, and when he was like, because it's Bigfoot, and he grabs the tree, and he fucking goes to catch the rabbit, but slings it right across the valley.
Yeah. He gets caught, doesn't he? And they get experimented on or something like that. So
Yeah.
remember right.
I would like the message at the end of Bart the General when he was like, just to tell everyone, just to remind everyone, there's no such good war except for, and then he just started listing like Star Wars and stuff like that.
Yeah. Rambo and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong.
There's some classic Simpsons, like when they had the X-Files episode, like, do you understand?
No,
Yes.
and that. Just in the beat of the woods.
Hey, my God. If you think about it, Die Hard has a hard hat and that kind of uniform also, when he's going to take the
Splitting shifts.
I don't think it was the same yet. Oh, no, Die was 1988, wasn't it?
Is it not Die Hard 2, is it?
No.
But even going back to the whole Looney Tunes slapstick, it's when you see the downward shot looking at the upwards and the perfect outline of his body.
Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
Like here, I mean, it's a good stunt. Bang. He went in, you know, like proper tumble down, but then look at the shot when it pans up.
And the steam coming off him also.
Smelling salts and shit.
Convenient how all the fingers of these gloves.
I want to apologise there. I'm sure it must be a deleted scene where you see the outline of the woods. It's perfect cut out.
You know what I did? I was waiting for it as well. I was sitting there going, am I watching a different cut?
No, I think that.
I think it is on this one, isn't it? I'm sure I've seen it also. Maybe later on, like when it's like an overhead shot. Might be, if I remember right.
How was filming in this?
I'd say early 20. Look, no binocular effect.
Oh,
The
there it
cheapest. There you go. There's the cutout.
God.
Now this sets up one of the funniest things here, when he goes, "Yo, Rumsfeld," and he fucking falls off and shoots out the thing.
It's like Corey Feldman disappears, but he's like 25, half an hour in this film, doesn't he? And comes back.
Well, that's the Anne character thing, isn't it? The evil.
Red Rover, let me go.
Again, though, that's what makes this film perfect with it being on the backlot, because you can do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, because that street's completely closed off, you can say, right, I want the shot up here, like him, and like that's what they do. That's what they're doing for the day.
They're gonna be so pleased with himself, isn't he?
I mean, I'm not being funny, right? But if it's that dry and you've seen them digging, you would see where they could have been digging. I mean, look at that. I mean, you can tell what hasn't been touched for ages.
Just a film, though.
Remember, it's just a movie. Bit where he just breaks the glass, like, I've had enough. Grass is being broken.
This is such a cool camera shot. Camera stick to the door.
It's great storytelling.
They didn't really use all these camera shots in any of the film, did they?
Yeah.
You know, like the panning and stuff like that. I never really seen that much in the show.
That old-fashioned 80s thing. Use a bank card to get in places.
That big Carl's Limitless card burned. He'd be more distraught about that than his bank card, wouldn't he?
Well, you know, I haven't even started charging us yet.
That's alright then.
Gonna try and get as many freebies in as possible.
Well, no, I mean, we're happy to say, by the way, we're not we're not showing any new films, so any of the older stuff, we're not going to charge you for. Basically, obviously, hoping to make money off the grub. But,
See, that guy there, that could have clearly been Corey Haim. If they were going to really capitalise on the two Corey's popularity at that time.
That's a good shot.
Kind of Batman and Robin, isn't it? Like the Batman TV show where it's like wonky.
It's what they call a Dutch angle.
Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking about.
Me too.
When
I didn't say the Swedish angle because that's weird.
Well, when we were looking for houses, every time we remember when that house we went to see, it said it had a cellar, and it was just a fucking hatch underneath the kitchen. It was it was about a foot high, and it said, "This is a cellar." I was like, yeah, I was like, fuck off, like American cellars. Do you know what I mean?
I was saying, why don't we have cellars? Why is that not a thing in this country?
Shouldn't it be sewage, isn't it? And the land.
There you go,
Sure
right
is.
there. You can see the Hollywood skyline from the back of him there. If you have a good look, there is Hollywood. He is sitting right there in front of that big building that you can just see over his shoulder.
I'm looking at his own crackers.
I mean, look at that furnace, man.
The Beast. Always reminds me of
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Yeah.
degrees on furnace.
Sorry?
That's what my TV looks like behind, with all those friggin' wires and stuff. Fucking hell.
Surely you looked in my incinerator.
And saw the skulls.
Oh, you still got your Ghostbusters wand on pre-order?
No, I had to cancel it because I couldn't afford £100.
Neither can I, but if I figure if I just don't cancel it, I'll just have to live with it.
This bit here, it's fucking class. Yo, Rumsfeld! And he just... Toink,
That's the kind of stunt, like.
it shoots out the fucking car. It's fucking class.
Yes. Awesome, dude. This is such a Bill and Ted thing, and turtles and cowbungers and surf dudes, wasn't it?
I tell you who he's probably based that off. Sean Penn. High Times.
Oh, Richmond, yeah.
This size that fucking wrench in the background. There's so much going on in that fucking this house. Right, to be honest with you, I think we're in the final act of the movie though, guys. It is a quite short movie.
1 hour 19 on my clock, like.
Are you what?
1 hour 19 on his clock.
Could have went out a little bit there.
Clock, guys, clock. Keep it clean.
Oh.
There's ladies present.
I don't know. To be
Thanks, Carl.
the amount of times I've ordered pizza, it never looks as good as an American pizza when it comes.
Excuse me, what's going on now?
So Carl's doing his best fucking Harry Hard on a fucking impression.
What? Hold on, how'd you know?
Talk hard. Britbo, wake up, oh.
I'm awake.
You got one eye open, you're looking like fucking Brother Fido here. Sit up for you.
I'm awake. I'm just really cold.
Just resting her eyes, man.
Well, we decided to do it in the bedroom, to the podcast, because we thought we'd have Jack here, because Jack always sweats in the other room when he's on the podcast. So we had it all set out and all that, and nice. I mean, don't get us wrong, I'm enjoying it. I mean, you haven't heard any squeaky chair, have you?
No, we haven't. No. But when you haven't heard that, that's what's suspicious.
Not as suspicious as Paul Ray waiting outside a Steps gig.
That's a nightmare joke out of my head.
Let's say about it one time.
It is quite funny looking back to it, Paul, but again, I definitely agree with your frustration, like. Brittany.
That was you.
Size that walkie-talkie, man.
So we use that work for some mediums.
Like, Rick Dukerman's reaction here is fucking brilliant.
There's no music really good, like, there's some fact.
It's scored really well, like. I mean, his overacting there.
But now when I fell off your bike, I was like that. Raymond, to use his full name now, didn't he? Raymond.
Mud all over it. And Klopex coming back with the coppers. It's here. Klopex with coppers. There's people in my house and they're stealing my food.
I like it. Somebody jumps in the car. I mean, it just.
It honestly, this is Feldman just like probably missing his cue, really. Face of the fucking bonnet.
Oh God, that was. It's a window too. And if you feed them after midnight, they become gremlins.
Wasn't it recently when someone dug a hole in and his metal detector, then they realised he had steel cap boots on? And his mate just took a picture of him because he couldn't get out the hole, and he realised he had fucking cap boots on him with his metal detector. Kept on digging. Now that they had to put warnings out the entire neighbourhood that was going on, and apparently it was like a proper mushroom cloud go up in the middle of Hollywood.
Yeah, it was bigger than I thought it would be, didn't it?
Yeah.
That looks like our lamp.
Well, it was meant to look like our lamp.
I think when they did London's Fallen, didn't they get like a massive rate of complaints or like people ringing the police because there was like cars blown up on a bridge and everyone thought it was another terrorist attack.
London's Fallen. There was no one in. It was supposed to be London, and you could go out stay in a house. Like there was no one on the streets. It was terrible.
I went to pictures to see that, and I was I didn't feel very comfortable watching that in the pictures.
Some about goat herders and stuff like that.
Hey Pinocchio, where you going? It's got so many quotes. You need to get ready for the quiz. Right, I love, guys, watch this when he slips down the stairs. It is fucking brilliant because the house is ready to drop on cue and it's just the slip, the little shuffle ready. It's fucking brilliant, that. Because he just like... I mean, it must have napped.
It was a win-win situation because had he fallen over, I probably would have kept it in.
I mean, that's like, you know what I mean? You're not going to get many takes of that. Imagine if he fell over there and like, because he's just going to keep on walking, got one eye shut, can't see, and must have knocked his heels.
One shot. Yeah.
Well, I love the detail in that because obviously they could have just made him look like rough around the edges, but the fact that he's like lost half his hair on the side of his head, and then he got that massive swollen eye. Well, she put a lot of detail in.
Dun 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 dun. Such, I love the fucking cue. Now all these guys are probably extras on the tour that day who said, "Oh, do you want to stay?" Like proper extras. Do you want to
That'd be
see?
awesome. That would.
Well, it was back in an era where that would probably happen. These days, you can't get away with that sort of shit.
Nah, you got the unions, extras, non-speaking parts.
Yeah. See, a lot of people asking why we weren't in Downton Abbey when they filmed the Beamish. It was like, well, because people who actually have a living that were doing that.
I didn't know they filmed Downton Abbey at Beamish.
Nope.
Oh yeah. Christmas special, and then in the movie.
You'll have Vera next.
I think we're in about 20 minutes in the film.
Saying you'll have Vera next. Brenda Blethyn.
Good say, well, we had a few notes on it, like, because obviously there's a few people who do extra work, and they've both been on Vera, two of them.
This is all handheld too.
Yeah, there's a lot of like everyone in one position. It's almost like the Truman Show, like everyone moves at one, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people going on in the background, like, to be honest with you, a lot of them firefighters are probably real firefighters trying to put the actual fucking fire out.
Yeah.
Say the girl arrested, wasn't it? Brewster and he wouldn't get arrested. He'll just...
Imagine that though, like, yeah, I got fired from my job and you just decided to blow up next door's house. I mean...
And lie to your wife.
I mean, you could have at least just turned around and said, I smell gas, so I want to check on it. Turns out it was leaking.
Your wife's home. His wife's proper, like, funky looking as well.
And it's a sound effect, isn't it? It's like, boom, like a Gremlins kind of sound effect, isn't it? But that's actually in the score, isn't it? I'm sure it is. Here goes a little monologue.
Another improv as well. Tom Hanks's idea and spur of the moment, I think, to pick up their stretcher and chuck it in himself.
Yeah.
Take me to the hospital. Just take me to the hospital.
You can see the right decision not to kill him. I mean, it wouldn't have made any sense him getting killed.
It's literally one of the questions in this book.
Well, Brit's getting ready to quiz us.
Excellent. Any favours for Mason, though? Any special favours, you know, it says, you know.
In fact, this quiz book was the first one. It's how I met Killian, and Joe Dante's actually on the back of the book.
There it is.
This is one of the original dropped ones.
Well, I feature in the Princess Bride one.
Are you the Princess Bride, were you?
What's Andre Giant's real name?
Steve.
And Carl McSorley, one of the answers.
Oh.
I love it. Yeah, that is just...
You can totally tell that's been like he's just done that, hasn't he?
So he goes on a little bit more further and it gets a bit more comfortable.
You take me to the hospital. I'll follow you there. Shut the door yourselves. Hey, Pinocchio! When the pizza dude turns up and the car comes out, pizza dude! It's just his voice in the background. Here comes Casper, the back of the fucking ambulance.
Hey, you see my steel books?
You saw my steel books, did you? Oh, yes. You can't be telling the people the ones I have.
Got live of my steel books.
I don't want the McStorley steelbooks and the Stedman steelbooks to know what I have, and you've seen my steelbooks.
They don't match properly, do they?
Oh God, I tell you what, man. When I was over Casper's, man, and he's got them. You know, Die Hard with a Vengeance isn't with the rest of Die Hard because it's by a different distributor. I see Casper, man, for fuck's sake. Like,
Well,
it is now.
mine are like that, like my Rambo's on altogether.
excuse you, the First Blood series.
Rambo better be in first. Rambo First Blood Part 1 should be under Rambo.
No, it's called First Blood. The book is called First Blood.
First Blood is under Air, and then Rambo Part 2 and Part 3 are together.
Casper's OCD
No.
is going to go mental when he comes to ours, isn't it?
Aye. Casper's
No.
OCD nearly broke the day when they released the pre-orders for fucking Back to the Future. It was like £74. That's how much it is.
You getting them?
This is a
£74.
a new
I think not.
Each?
For the lot.
Oh.
No, all three. I had company this morning. I heard me phone go, but then it wasn't until they left and I looked at it. I goes, but if you just steelbook's out. As soon as I clicked on it, it was like sold out. I was like, that'll be right.
Call every time you say that, you've got like sometimes you mention you got company and all that. You're like, it almost sounds like you've got like an escort in your house.
Hey, what we do in the time that I pay for, I mean, the time that I have it is up to me.
Is watching films.
I just like the fact there's someone in the world that still says, I've got company. I was like, oh.
Be our guest. Be our
We're
guest.
actually talking about Final Fantasy, actually, because I'm not a Final Fantasy player, but I had to go as a copy of the remake, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Pizza dude.
That's a lot of pizza.
That's a paramedic I've seen.
That was a really bad wig on top of the stunt guy coming out that taxi there, like a taxi, the ambulance. Again, I think this is a bit of a reshoot and just adding the comedy value to it, though.
Pick up the trolley at the same time, yeah. And keep the momentum going. God.
Citizens arrest. Citizens on patrol.
Sherlock. Crane was the hero in this film all along, wasn't he? There you go.
There you go, and he's like solving the crime of the Scooby-Doo mystery.
You would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that pesky kid.
Hey, Pinocchio!
He knocked him over. Must bloody kill.
It's a tackle gone totally wrong, like. I'm gonna do that to you at work, Paul.
Bang.
Look at that, he's got him.
Jack, though.
Honestly, he's actually got him in a chicken wing. That's what he's got him in. He's got the right arm hooked under and got his throat. Snap your neck.
I'll tell you. My back has done it, Mason.
What's that?
That's how my back into place, isn't it?
Well, you walk around like hunch, so it just comes along, crack, and then you walk properly after about 20 minutes of crying.
Was April O'Neil Channel 6?
Yeah.
She was. Yeah.
Yeah, I just noticed that film, the interviewer there had Channel 6 written on it. I thought, is that everybody in America?
Wait, why? Because in the 80s we had 4 channels. Is that what you're saying? Channel 4 News.
Well, I remember getting Channel 5 and watching a blurry like footage for like 6 months.
Channel 5 was big business when that launched.
Oh,
Which was like one of the main things I used to watch in Xena.
yeah.
Didn't Home and Away get shopped onto that or something? There was a big controversy about it.
Yeah.
Your wife's home, here she is. What?
And why? That is a Gremlins 2, like ding, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, one of the music cues on the soundtrack's the Bat Gremlin cue.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Goldsmith doesn't like reuse a lot of the stuff. I think he does with some of the Joe Dante stuff. It's picking a character here, like, isn't it? Picking a fourth wall.
Smashes the fourth wall here. Again, like the Looney Tunes would do. That's all, folks.
I love being a colonel. I mean, what?
Pizza. I'll be straight in that pizza van. Give me that pizza.
That pizza will be gone in my hand now. Stuff like that.
And then pans all the way out. And fade to black. And there we go. Classic. It only happened in the late 80s, really. Like actors' title credits.
I loved it. Yeah.
Like 18. This film is 41 years old.
Terrifying.
Oh.
Jesus H. Christ.
Brother Theodore.
Courtney Games.
Dum.
I'm surprised Dick Miller didn't get like a little title creed there.
I don't think so, considering he worked with Dante that much.
So, since this is the end of the movie, let's quickly do how many. How many, Paul? That's your thing, Paul. I'm not going to take that away from you. How many?
I didn't think of anything of it. I forgot I did them.
How many?
How many bones?
Nah.
Brownies.
How many brownies? How many goddamn brownies out of 10?
How many cupcakes out of 10?
Well, if it's for me, it's a tenner. It is a 10 because I've got so much love for this film. I love the score. I love the cast. I love how it's old school Hollywood because it's all on the back lot. Like when you go back and see, like again, it's a perfect remake of Rear Window and a comedy value because it was all done on the set. I think it's one of Tom Hanks' best and underrated films. I love it how it falls into my the Corey Haim era, as well. So, and Joe Dante, I think it's like Joe Dante's just magical. So, it's a 10 for me, to be honest with you.
Alright, Carlos?
Probably a 4 for me.
Fuck, get up.
I was waiting for Mason to explode.
You just nearly give us a fucking stroke.
He just stopped combing his beard when you said that.
You nearly give us a stroke there, man. Jesus. Oh.
I would probably go. I'd say 9.5. I'd give it 9.5.
I love Carl's 0.5s.
Always room for improvement, though. You got to remember that, guys.
Team 4. And explain it.
Nah, I can't really say much more than Mason. Joe Dante does something really original with this. So I love the camera angles. I love the cast. The music's spot on. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'd happily give it a 9.5. Like, I think that's a good score.
Alright, cool. Gets a 9 for me.
A 9?
Yeah, I did do 0.5. Gets a 9. I mean, love the film. Big Joe Dante fan. Goldsmith fan. As soon as Mason said with Burbs, I was definitely up for it. I love it. I think just for me, because I've seen that many times, it doesn't lose its power, it doesn't lose its energy, but it doesn't bring anything new, if you know what I mean? Because I've seen that many times, but no, it's still one of my favourite 80s films, but yeah. Everyone says, loves it.
It definitely needs pop vinyls released of it.
Yeah, I think it. It is, mate. You could probably get them custom. I would worry that the Burbs is really like cult classic, but if it comes to pop vinyl, you're really only going to be selling like a Tom Hanks one, maybe the Corey Feldman one, just because of the name. But you think of someone like Dick Miller, I don't think people are going to buy that.
No, like literally, I mean, you're talking like a selective few. That's all it needs to be. It's almost like Universal are just letting their licenses go a lot, because when in Hollywood, visit Universal Studios. Fuck me, that's a weird advert at the end. Because like,
what would look nice though, if you had the pop vinyl with the house.
Oh yeah.
You know how like you got Venkman with the Ghostbusters Tower and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that would work if you had him in his dressing gown in front of the house. Maybe give him the frying pan and that. I reckon that would work.
Well,
that should work, that.
So we are going to read some questions from Killian H's Gore's quiz book, which features a short story at the end of it. You can pick it up on Amazon. This is probably going to be a new series as we revisit some of the classics that Killian has done a lot of quiz books for. and Brittany. So how we're going to do this, guys, you're going to have to put your you can't put your hands up, so you're going to go me, and Britt's going to be the judge of who knows this. So are you ready, guys?
How many we're doing?
I don't know. We'll see how we'll go for the first 10.
Okay. Right, so question 1. What does Ruben Klopek call Ricky and his friends when he is telling them to get off his car? Do you want me to read the multiple choices out as well?
Yeah.
So you got Hellcats, Crazy Cats, Beatniks, or Hepcats.
Oh, see, that's a problem. We're not watching a podcast with fucking audio.
Yeah. I'm going to go with me, and I'll say, was it Wildcats?
No.
I'm gonna go for Hellcats.
I've got Hellcats, Crazy Cats, Beatniks, or Hepcats.
So I'll take Crazy Cats. I will.
Right.
Hellcats for me.
And so, answer is Hepcats.
Ah, fuck you, Killian.
Nobody Fucking hell, man, Killian.
I'm looking forward to having Killian on our branching out series too, because like he must spend a lot of time like analysing fucking films and stuff
God,
like this.
yeah.
So no one's got a point.
So, what kind of human bone do Art and Ray find in the garden,
Me.
believing it to be Walter's?
Me.
Your femur, fibula, tibia, or patella?
It's a femur.
Anyone,
Well, I'm going to go
anyone
femur
else?
as well. I've got a feeling.
You should only read the multiple questions out if someone doesn't say me.
I find it hard to find flipping answers.
It's definitely a femur.
Do I get a point for that then?
We all do, I think.
We all
I
do.
think so, yeah.
God, don't employ me as quizmaster again. Yeah, femur. There you are.
Question number 3, as we're all on one each.
Which horror film remake did Fisher star in as Mrs. Crenshaw? Got
Shit, I just looked at that thing as well.
Do you want me to read the multiple choice?
2 seconds.
When he goes on IMDb.
No, I swear to God, I'm not. It's just because I did look at a thing on before. I'm just trying to imagine it, but I'll have to do multiple choice. Go on.
So you got Black Christmas, April Fool's Day, Sorority Row, or Prom Night?
Me.
Four, yep.
Yeah.
So, I can pronounce it. Society, thingamajig. I can pronounce it.
Sorority Row. Yep, that's the one.
Paul Ray's winning with 2 points.
Well done,
Again.
Let's have a look. People are gonna know that one.
It's alright,
Which Friday the 13th documentary did Feldman host and narrate?
Me.
Paul Ray.
Crystal Lake Memories.
Yep.
I'm just gonna assume that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's have a look. How many cast members from the Burbs make an appearance in Erie, Indiana?
Oh, fuck.
And the multiple choices are 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I would say 3. Dick Miller.
Instinct went with 4, so I'm going to go 4.
I'm going to say, what was it again? 1?
1, 2, 3, or 4.
I would say 3. I want to say Dick Miller. Maybe Bruce Dern at a long shot. Rick Dukeman definitely. And probably that Wendy chick.
What's your answer, Paul?
2.
How many? 2.
Yeah, 2.
Stephen's right.
Yes.
You only got one of the people right though.
Who is it?
So it's Dick Miller,
Dick Miller.
Henry Gibson,
Oh,
and Corey Danziger.
that's the kid, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? 2-2-1. Carl's losing. Okay.
Cheers for bringing that up, man.
Well, I'm just trying to keep track.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
What is the name of the song on the television that Ray is watching whilst having his morning orange juice?
Oh, fucking hell, man. I know Felix the Cat was on at one
Sound
point.
on?
I keep doing that, don't I?
Well, it's got to be something by the Jet Boys, is it?
It's just a song name.
I'm just reading off the credits what came up before. I know the Jet Boys had like 2 tracks on the song.
Why can't I find the name? Why can't I find the answer to this question? Hang on, you might have to scrap that question because I genuinely can't find the answer.
Right, skip that one. Doesn't
Okay.
count.
That might be a misprint, actually.
Killian, Gore. Have we just found a week link in his chin?
Before Ricky announces he's called the pizza dude, his friend says they are going to which fast food establishment? McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's or KFC?
McDonald's, I would say.
Gotta be McDonald's, surely.
Me.
What's your answer, Paul?
Wendy's.
McDonald's, I reckon.
Oh, you and Carl were right, McDonald's.
Ah, storming away now. I'm in the lead.
Come back.
I'm trying to...
And
I was doubtful at first, like I thought McDonald's would be easy, like too easy of an answer, but America, you know, let's just go either way. Wendy's is a safe choice, to be fair.
That's why I chose the Paul.
Yeah.
oh, here's quite a quirky one. In trying to convince Hanks to provide the voice for Woody in Toy Story, the filmmakers made some test footage using dialogue from which of his movies? Big, Turner and Hooch, Joe versus the Volcano, or A League of Their Own?
A League of Their Own.
I'm gonna go...
Me.
Answers,
Go on,
please.
Big.
You're gonna go big. I think I'm gonna go,
I'm going to say for A
go
League
on,
of Their
Turner
Own.
and Hooch.
Who said Turner and Hooch?
Me.
Well, you won.
Carl.
Fuck.
Woo!
That was
So that
quite-
means
Just
Carl
going out
joint
at
and Carl.
3-3-2.
Alright.
What is the name of Carrie Fisher's first novel?
Oh, me.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking Summit.
Definitely not.
It's oh no. Something about drinking, I'm sure it is.
That's what I've just fucking said.
It's not like.
Is it not?
It's definitely not.
I didn't hear your answer, Mason, so
Called the Princess Diaries or something like that.
It's called. Do you want the optional answer?
He's just fucking Googled that, I'm telling you.
Do you want the
yeah,
option?
go on.
So you've got postcards from the Edge, postcards from Hollywood, postcards from the Brink, or postcards from LA.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
Postcards from the Edge.
Yep.
Yes!
You just...
I can't Google it because this phone call is on my phone.
I know, man.
Yeah.
Why would you accuse him of Googling? He's sitting in the same room as the book.
Yeah, sure.
And he's shagging the quizmaster. Sorry, but Google's like the last on the list of why you might be getting an answer.
That's fine. I'm just trying to find a good Corey Feldman question here. For what reason did Feldman not reprise his role as Tommy Jarvis in Friday the 13th?
Me.
Mm-hmm.
It was contracted to do the Goonies.
Number 13.
I would say he chose to do the Goonies.
No, he's contracted to do the Goonies.
He was shooting the Goonies, yeah.
That's why he was only in it in his back garden for 2 days filming.
Aye, but was he forced to do it, or did he choose to do it?
Well, no, because they hadn't announced Friday the 13th Part 5 when he had signed for the Goonies. That was the problem.
That's not my question, Stephen. I said, was he forced to do it, or did he choose to do it?
He says...
Because if he's saying he contracted to it, that means he was forced to do it, whereas I believe he chose to do the Goonies over any Friday the 13th project.
I've got a good
I think we're
question.
supposed to do
I've got a good question for you.
I'm
here.
winning, that's why Carl's angry.
At which number house does the Peterson family live?
2.
Do you want
Yeah, I just made it up.
It can't be. Hang on. Give us the answers. Give us the questions.
671, 673, 669, or 667?
Me. It's got to be 667.
I'm going to say 667 just because of the nature of the film.
Because it's next.
669.
Because it's next to six. No, the Klopex house is 669. So it's the next
That's
house.
what I said.
Well, we're talking about the Petersons.
Anyone got any other answers?
What was that?
First one.
Look, it's on the menu screen now. 661. It's actually on the menu screen.
That's not even one of the optional answers.
That's Peterson. Ray Peterson's.
Honestly, that is not one of the optional answers.
Killian, I've defunct you. The menu screen there had 9671. Look.
You
I've
just
got
said
the multiple houses,
661.
mate.
Look. 671.
You said 661.
I've got dyslexia. I read it backwards.
Right, anyway, 671 is the answer.
Yes!
Fucking hell.
That's the controversial one, that like.
Jesus.
What?
What is the name of the company on the truck outside Walter's house at the beginning of the movie?
Me.
Oh my god, give somebody else a chance.
Alright.
Guys?
I don't know the answer, so.
Oh, what's your answer then?
It's the plumbing company.
Well, that doesn't count. You have to give us the company.
Hold on, I'm going to say that's not the answer, Mason.
Fine, let them fight it out. Give them the optional answers.
We've got Chem Lawn, True Green, Valley Crest, or Lawn Doctor.
The first one for me.
Valley Quest.
And question 15. Where's the answers?
Yeah,
Chem Lawn was the answer.
Yep. It's me singing abilities. I recognise it. So what's that? 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's it? What's it?
I haven't been keeping score, like, not gonna lie.
I think I'm winning by far.
Oh, of course you're gonna say
I
that.
think it's 5 Mason, 4 Ray, 3 me.
Right. What time does Art say to Ray that the ball game is on at? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Me.
Mm-hmm.
Me. 4.
I'm going to say 2 because ball games are on for like 4 fucking hours.
I was going to say I reckon 2 as well, I think.
It's 1.
Oh.
Nobody got that.
It's like when you hear about a baseball game and then they're on about, oh yeah, it's on for like 4 hours and you're like, what?
Yeah. 2 in American football, that can go on for about 5 or so.
Not as bad as cricket. That goes on for like days.
Cricket these
The
days.
game that you see is actually the first game. It's just cool one.
And who wrote the piece of music that plays as Ray and Art dramatically approach the Klopex house, having dared themselves to ring the doorbell?
That's so scary because that's what was going on the menu screen, as that was saying. It's got to be Jerry Goldsmith.
Nope, he's not even an answer.
Oh no, it's
Maybe. Is it Ennio Morricone, the thingamajig?
Ennio.
It is. It's Ennio. It'll be borrowed from the Spaghetti Westerns.
Aye, it's Ennio.
Well done, Paul Ray.
Oh, he's tying with Mason. 5-5-3.
How many bin bags does Hans Klopek take from his car over to the bin?
Me. 1.
Me.
1.
2.
Aye, 1.
Yes. Fuck you, Paul Ray. I'm in the lead again.
5-4, isn't it now?
5-4. 4-5.
6. I won 6 now, man.
Oh, 6-4-4, yeah, sorry.
And so, as they watch Ray, Art and Mark spying on the Klopex house, what does Ricky say to his girlfriend when it begins to rain? What was that?
It's
You're
like
the type of person I would love to watch on a quiz show, Mason.
it's like
Do you just want the
What
options?
choice?
it's like half time, break time.
So you've got wash out, rain delay, or rain check.
Rain out.
Nope.
Rain delay.
Rain delay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's the answer?
What else we got?
Should we make this first to 10? Because I'm at 7.
When Art runs out of his house in the morning, what does he first refer to the garbage men as? You've got grabbers, garbies, garbages, or graboids.
It can't be graboids because tremors didn't exist yet.
The second one.
What?
The first one.
What garbies?
Garby's eye.
Yeah, garbies is right. Yeah.
Come back, kids. In fact, I've overtaken Ray.
Ooh.
I think.
Oh, we already know that one. What book are Ray and Art reading in the basement at Ray's house? You got the Encyclopedia of Demons and Demonology, the Theory and Practice of Demonology, Letters on Demonology and Witchcraft, or the Dictionary of Demons.
The first one.
I'm going to go with the second one.
I'm going to go for the third one with witches.
So the answer was the second one.
Damn it.
The theory and practice of.
Well done.
One behind you, Mason. One behind you.
Come on. Loads of these we've already discussed, and I know that you know them.
Oh, it's good because I need one.
What does Art's note to the Klopek family say? I can read them out if you want, or I can let you guess.
We know what you did.
So
Yeah, I think
you've got we know what you've done, I know what you've done, we know what you're up to, or I know what you did.
I know what you did.
We know what you've done.
It's I know what you've done.
Fucking grammar. Throw that one out.
And what are the names of Dave Peterson's two cousins that his mother is taking him to visit?
Oh, fucking hell, Killian.
Multis.
So you've got, I'll read them out. You've got Rose and Daisy, Rudy and Diane, Rose and Diane, or Rudy and Daisy.
I'm going to go for Rudy and Daisy.
What was that?
Rosie for me.
Carl?
I'm Rudy.
And who?
But you're.
Daisy. Sorry.
Oh, nobody got that. It was Rudy and Diane.
No, you're going to go for something.
You're all bloody rubbish.
What is the name of Ricky's friend that he invites over to watch the ensuing events in the street? Nick, Matt, Steve, or Dave?
Steve. Me,
Steve.
Steve.
Get him, Steve Dave.
Get him, Steve
It
Dave.
is.
Yes!
It is Steve, yeah.
I'm at
Steve, yes.
I'm at 8. 2 more, baby.
What does
Hey, we're tied. I'm on top of you, Mason.
What does Ray think Art's middle name is? Louis, Leo, Lance, or Larry?
Louis.
Lance.
And some.
Where's the question? Where's the answers? Lost them again. Oh, we've got 3 answers here, have we?
Lance.
Whoever
Wait.
said Louis got it right.
Woohoo!
Oh, God.
Oh,
Overtaken Mason. On a solid 9. One more to go.
How many years old does Art speculate that the Klopek's furnace is? 100, 70, 80, or 50?
100 for me, please.
I love the fact you
I'm
said
gonna go-
please.
I'm going to go 80.
Stephen?
It's got to be 80. It's the way it rings off his belt. It's got to be 80 years old.
It's 80.
Yes!
Woohoo!
Carl wins.
Does that not mean Carl won? Yay!
I paid my dues.
Carl, you can only win.
Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad considering he gave it an original 4 rating.
Well, Carl, to win this though, to ultimately beat me, and your film knowledge will only 3, and the first ever HorrorCon, I picked up the Burbs and dropped it with what other Killian H. Gore book?
Oh God.
Carl
still won, by the way.
I could say I totally still won, but I'm always one for a bonus point. I think now all I'm thinking of is you bloody dropping one in front of that actor.
But that was free. That was 2 years later. When I first
I know it's a different time. I'm just thinking that's all I'm thinking of now, though.
When I first met Killian, he had 2 books out of all his collection. What I needed for my collection, one was the Burbs, and another one that I dropped.
I know it's wrong, but all I can think of is Lost Boys.
Nope, because Lost Boys didn't exist yet. Hence why I ended up in the Lost Boys as a jokey answer.
Is that right? Well, what then?
Paul Ray want to steal it and win the whole thing?
He's totally not winning the whole thing by answering that, mine.
I mean, Killian's probably sitting there going, but Killian will know it. Nah. It's the thing.
Ah, right, it's a thing. See, I didn't even think of that, to be honest with you. That's an easy answer, really.
So,
of course it was.
Killian's H book with over 200 questions is out now. It features Joe Dante on the back, who actually really enjoyed the book. It's one that features a short story at the end of the night, which Killian basically takes his own twist on the films. But yeah, it's packed full of questions. You can get that on Amazon Prime right now. This has been the extended podcast for the Burbs, along with Paul Ray. We have no fucking idea what happened to Jack. Mr. Carl, who always walks in the wrong direction at his own pace. He doesn't care what you're doing. He will work where he walks.
Listen, the alleged man you took photographs of was wearing a mask. You can't prove a damn thing.
Oh, yeah, probably true. And the one and only lovely Britbo, our quiz master. But for now, I've been Stephen Monkey Mason. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much, Killian. Goodbye for now.